Come to the top of the mat, standing tall. And let's just have our arms by our sides today. And I'm going to face the camera, but you can just be at the top of your mat. So the feet either together or slightly apart. You're going to feel more stable if your feet are apart, but however you want to be is fine. Try to drop your tailbone down and lift your pubic bone up. You can visualize that from the pubic bone, there's a little zipper drawing up toward your rib cage. And that's going to help you take some of that curve out of your low back. So keeping that, let's start to rotate the shoulders so the palms face away from the body. And on your inhale, reach up. Maybe the palms can touch. And we're going to keep this rotation as we exhale. The knuckles will move down toward the thighs. So the shoulders are still rotating out. Just do that a few more times. The inhale, arms go up. And the exhale, the arms go down. And see if you can do that while still zipping up from the pubic bone up toward the belly button. It's tempting to stick your butt out whenever your arms go overhead. So you just have to remember that core action. The next inhale, reach up. We're going to interlace the fingers and get the palms to the ceiling. So you have a bend in the wrist. Exhale to one side, doesn't matter which one. Inhale through center as tall as you can. Exhale to the opposite side, push your hips away from your hands. Inhale through center. One more time, first side. Inhale through center, belly in. Exhale to the other side. Belly in as you rise. Just release the hands and fold forward. Bend the knees if you want. Inhale, halfway up, and step to plank, exhale. Stay there for your inhale. Lower down all the way to the belly. What happened?
Have your arms straight or to have your wrists pointing up?
For that thing we just did, arms straight is nice, feels good. I'll look at you doing it later and we'll see how we can negotiate your situation. So come to the belly, lift the chest so that just your lowest rib is on the ground. And when you can, interlace your fingers behind the back. If it's too much, just keep your hands on the floor. If you can, get your forearms off your butt and reach your knuckles a little bit further toward your heels. Just take 2 more breaths here. Push your pubic bone down into the floor so that you're not overarching in your low back. And keep the lift. Just release your hands under your shoulders. Curl up a little bit higher, cobra, and press to downward dog, exhale. Wiggle around however you need to. Take a few more breaths there. My roommate just left the house, so I'm glad there's no more squeaking doors going on. He was jumping over the cord as well. Okay, Demony made it, and Heidi made it, and Candace made it. Okay. Y'all are late, but that's okay. Better than not showing up. Okay, from downward dog, let's step or jump, feet to hands. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Rise all the way up, inhale. This time take hold of opposite elbows. Pull your elbows to one side, push your hips opposite. So you're just stretching through the side body. We're going to stay here for a few breaths and try to get the ears to line up with the upper arms. That top elbow, we have to bring it back a little bit more than we think we should. And we'll use the belly strength to come through center. Inhale as high up as you can. Exhale over to the other side. Push the hips opposite. The hand that's on the top elbow can literally pull it back for you. Belly in, rise up, and we'll fold forward, release the hands down. And halfway up, inhale, and step back to plank. Exhale. Stay in plank, inhale, and come down to the belly. Exhale. Shalabhasana A, arms by the sides, legs together, chest and shoulders up. So it's just like you did before in terms of the back curving. If you can, lift the legs. And you still just have that lowest rib on the ground. Everything else is up. And you're reaching your chest forward, your legs back. Take one more breath, press your knuckles into the floor. We're going to keep the lift of the chest. Just lower the legs, hands come under the chest. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale to downward dog. However you need to work your downward dog so it serves you. You just did a pretty big back bend. So maybe you want to stare at your belly button and try to find the kind of counter action to the back bend. One more breath. And after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale there at the top. Fold, exhale. Rise all the way up, inhale. And just separate the feet, hands to the lower thighs. Exhale. Pull your chest forward, stick your butt out. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round, belly button to spine, chin to chest. Inhale, arch as big as you can. Shoulders down. Exhale, round. One more time. And we'll just come to standing, and we'll bring the feet together again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway up, inhale. Step to plank, exhale. Stay there for your inhale, press into your fingertips. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg to the ceiling, inhale. Step forward, exhale. Anjaneyasana, back knee down. Let's reach forward and up. And just see how that feels. There's a million ways to get your arms up. So if you feel any disconnection, shoulders with the shoulders of your arms in the socket, reaching forward is going to help you because then you have all this mobility. You can see there's like 5 inches. I can slide my arms forward or back. So if you get the shoulders back a little bit, the arms in the sockets when you're reaching forward, you can just keep that to reach up. It's a lot easier to find that position when you can see your hands. Once you reach up, it has to already be set. Let's bring the hands down, step 2 plank, inhale there. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Left leg high, inhale. Bring it forward to the hands, exhale. Back knee down, arms come up, inhale. The other thing to play with, you could keep playing with that arm and socket business, or you can start to play with a little more rotation. You get your palms to face somewhat up, so that as you're reaching up and back, your pinky fingers are attracted toward each other. You may even bring your palms all the way to touch. But it's that same external rotation you do in every downward dog. You just don't have the feedback of the floor, so it's a little bit harder to know what's happening. If you move your hands to a place where you can see your hands, you'll see what's happening. You'll see that your pinky fingers move toward each other. Okay, lower the hands, step into plank, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Stay here for a few breaths. Press into your hands so that your length between butt and hands is bigger, longer. You take up more space. Next, inhale, lift your heels high, bend your knees, exhale, and jump or step forward. Inhale at the top, fold, exhale. Rise all the way up, inhale. And let's bring the arms out in front of us. This is just to counterbalance us. Bend into the knees, lean the weight into the balls of the feet and lift your heels. Sit a little bit lower if you want, as low as you want to go. You're just pressing your knees together, your thighs together, so that you have that concept of the midline, so that it feels nice and symmetrical. Keep your heels up as you rise to stand, squeezing the whole time, and lower the heels down again, lower the arms. Inhale, reach up, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up to plank. Exhale. Stay in plank. Inhale, just get strong through the core. Bend the elbows. Exhale. Upward facing. Inhale. Downward facing. Exhale. Lift the right leg up high. Inhale. Bring it forward to the hands. Exhale. Lower the back knee down again. Untuck the back toes. Take forearm or elbows, I should say, and bring the forearms back. So we're just increasing the back bend a little bit. And we're using the shoulder blades to lift the chest up, like you're poking yourself in the back with your shoulder blades. And release the hands to the floor. Step back, either vinyasa or downward dog. It's early yet, so if you're feeling like you might run out of stamina, then just skip those vinyasas. Left leg up, inhale, step forward, exhale, lower the right knee, take hold of the elbows. So we're using the hands on the elbows to literally pull them back a little bit. Keep the ears just between the upper arms. And even here, we want to zip up through the center core like we talked about at the very beginning. From the pubic bone up toward the belly button and into the lowest rib, you have this sensation of drawing in toward the midline and up. Okay, release the hands. Step back, vinyasa or downward dog. And when you get to downward dog, we'll come forward to plank and lower down to the belly. You want your hips and chest to land at the same time. There should be no drooping of the hips. Shalabhasana B. So scoot the legs back just a little bit more so you have space in the hip flexors. Hands come back a few more inches. Lift the chest and shoulders. If you can, lift the legs. So it's very similar to the Shalabhasana C and A that you did earlier. You're using all the back muscles to stretch through the front body. Take one more breath. Reach your feet away from you. Then lower the legs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here to recover from your back bend, whatever that means for you. And we'll lift the heels high, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, and jump forward. Or step. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana. I'm just going to step back because I don't know where the camera is. Okay, so arms either up or forward. Again, we're going to lift the heels. And you'll find that if you're reaching up, it's a little bit trickier. So maybe you're somewhere between up and forward. Keep squeezing the knees together. One more breath. We're going to place the hands on the floor. Bakasana. Separate the knees. Your heels are already lifted. So now all you have to do is point your toes more. Shift your weight. Lift the heels toward your butt. Squeeze your legs into your arms so they don't slide down. Then jump back when you're ready. Cycle through your vinyasa. And we're going to meet in down dog B. You can go right from down dog A to B by rolling your shoulders away from your ears. Your elbows, I'm going to do it facing front. Your elbows will then face the floor as you bend them, as opposed to facing out to the side. While your forearms basically parallel to each other, fingers spread wide. To get to straight arm position, you're just going to push your chest closer to your legs. Lift both elbows a ½ inch. Keep pressing your chest back and lift the arms all the way to straight. It's really just a function of pushing back. Let's lift the right leg high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. Reach up, Anjaneyasana, inhale. And either stay there or robot arm. Palms face in, roll the shoulders up and back. Try to touch the wall behind you with your elbows so that you feel like your chest is sort of exploding up and out. You can stay there or fingertips come down right under your hips. Not really a whole lot changes between the robot position and the fingers down. Just keep bending the front knee and lifting the chest up. Okay, hands to the floor, step back, plank. Make a choice, chaturanga or downward dog. If you choose chaturanga, you have the rest of the vinyasa. Other side, left leg high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. Right knee down, untuck the right toes, reach up. And if you want, take your robot arms. So sometimes I'll have us do this pose with our back toes tucked. For today, if you can, do the untucked position, because when we go into something like camel pose or Laghu Vadrasana, we're going to need to know how those toes work. They need to be very strong. So if you're in robot arms, maybe start to reach the fingers down. The chin will lift a little bit, open the throat. And even here, we're zipping up through that front body. So it's a back bend, but you're limiting how crazy into the flexibility you go. Okay, hands to the floor, step into plank, inhale. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Let's bring the hands back to the feet. So just push into your hands until you feel weight in the heels. Then hands under the feet, toes by your inner wrist. Inhale and fold, exhale. And stay here for a few breaths, and we're going to try to get our belly in so that it is not the limiting factor of how far we can fold. If I had a really big belly on my thighs, I would only be able to get so far. But if we can draw the belly in and up, organs toward the ribs, you'll have a little extra space, maybe 3 more inches or so. Okay, release the hands down to the floor in front of your feet and walk into downward dog again. Once you find your down dog, just make sure your fingers are spread wide. And using those fingers, we're going to again walk our hands back to the feet. And walk forward again. So your fingers are doing this for you. Your arms are plenty strong to control it. Okay, from down dog, again, we're just going to try to bring the elbows down. If you know it, just go ahead right into it. I want your arms to land right and left simultaneously. If you bend your elbows and this happens, the elbows pop out to the side, it just means you're not rotating your shoulders enough. So push more into your hands, rotate your shoulders, and then just bend your elbows an inch. just to make sure that they're tracking toward the floor. Once they start tracking toward the floor, the rest is pretty easy. It's really that initial action that we get stuck on. And remember how it felt to walk from down dog into that forward bend when you walked your hands back towards your feet. That's how much you're going to push into your hands. Just straighten your arms, regular downward dog. So we're trying to get left and right at the same time. Symmetrical. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge. Back heel stays up, inhale. Let's interlace the fingers behind the head. Bring the elbows in a bit so your forearms are right by the side of your head. Start to press your head back. Your elbows will start to lift up. Either stay here or lower the back knee down and untuck the back toes. It becomes Anjaneyasana, which is less of a balance, but I think a little bit more of a thigh stretch for that left leg. So you decide which is better for your practice today. Those of you that came down to Anjaneyasana, tuck your left toes, return to your high lunge, and we'll undo the arms, reach up. On your exhale, open up to warrior two, adjust your feet so you have a heel to arch alignment. We'll just straighten the right leg, inhale. Left leg's already straight, and exhale to bend the right leg. Again, inhale straight. Exhale, bend. Inhale straight. This time creep your left foot just a few inches in. Triangle pose. Reach out as far as you can and lower the hand to somewhere. Left arm up or any variation you want. 1. We're going to be here for 5 breaths. 2. You're trying to get your right hip underneath you. 3. That means you have to push the ball of your right foot down. 4, you have to lean your shoulders back. And 5. We'll inhale to rise up. Just bend into the knee, lower the hands, vinyasa or downward dog. And we'll do all of that on the other side. So from down dog, we'll just lift the left leg up, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Interlace fingers behind the back, or behind the head, rather. So, when we were in that down dog going from straight arms to bent arms, I said if your elbows go out to the side, it means your shoulders are not rotating. It's sort of the same thing here. If my elbows are out like this, like the wings, there's going to be kind of a jam here in the upper back and shoulder. So bring your elbows in. Now it's imitating your Kapotasana arms a little bit better. Chest up. And if you bring the back knee down, it's the same deal in the shoulders. And whether you're in high lunge or low lunge, you're squeezing your thighs together so that your hips face front. If you were to forget squeezing the thighs, your hips would start to veer to the right a little bit. You'd lose that stretch for the hip flexor. So if you're in Anjaneyasana, curl the back toes, lift the back knee. We'll reach up for an inhale, open up warrior two, exhale. Straighten the left leg, inhale. Bend it again, exhale. Straighten it, inhale. And bend, exhale. Okay, straighten, inhale. Into triangle pose, scoot your back foot to a comfortable spot. Reach out, your hips move opposite of your reach, and we lower the hand. Right arm up. Or there's a million other things you could do with your right arm. Whatever that top arm does, the essence of this pose is trying to get all of your body on one plane. So your left hip should feel like it's working pretty hard. The left quads are engaging, so that kneecap is rising. And next inhale, we'll rise up, belly in, bend into the knee, place the hands, Step back vinyasa or downward dog. Okay, come to tabletop. Inhale, arch, press into the toenails. So untuck the toes, exhale, round. Still press into the toenails. Again, inhale, arch. Pull yourself forward. Exhale, round. Push. So the middle back lifts to the ceiling. One more time. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, push. Belly button towards spine. And inhale, arch. And this time, downward dog for your exhale. Right leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior two, exhale. Feel free to stay here. Deal with the hip and the legs. If you want, bring your right elbow up and try to get your right fingertips by your shoulder blades. You can stay there, or left shoulder's gonna roll forward so that you can link your hands. Your head is gonna press into your top arm. And while you're here, stay there, just think about that zipping up feeling, the pubic bone rising. That will prevent you from sticking your butt out. That will bring you more into an alignment that your back will be very happy with. Okay, release the grip that you have. Lower the hands to the floor and just step back, vinyasa or downward dog. The vinyasa is really meant to moderate your breath. Left leg up high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. To warrior two, exhale. And when we stay in a pose, instead of moving constantly, sometimes our breath gets crazy. So that's why we stick in many, many vinyasas. So either take your Gomukhasana arms or don't. Before I showed you the way to do it where your top arm moves first. Sometimes I see people bring their back arm in and then the front hand would go to that back elbow and sort of scoot it in. So you could do that as well. There's no wrong way to enter the pose. Just make sure you're breathing. And we'll release the grip so that we can lower the hands and vinyasa or downward dog. You'll also notice that the vinyasas make you very strong. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do every one. Okay, lift the right leg up high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. Let's lower the back knee to Anjaneyasana, untuck the toes, and just push that knee forward with the hands. We're just gonna stay here for a few breaths to stretch that left hip a little bit more. Okay, fingertips down, slide your back knee a little bit in. So now you have this very boxy kind of setup. And stand on that left knee so that you can twist, hook your arm. It's a very solid way to get into the twist. You'll feel very stable. So then you can maybe get your arm hooked further over. Either hands to prayer, try to get your thumbs to your chest, not by your shoulder. Chest. If it's at the chest comfortably, left hand down, right hand up. Then when you feel ready, curl your back toes, lift your back knee. You wind up in a high lunge with a twist. If that's too easy, take your bind. The arms will come under. We're trying to look up and peel the right shoulder away from the right hip. Make there be more space between hip and shoulder. Okay, unravel. Just step to downward dog. Lift the left leg high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. Lower the right knee, Hasta. So untuck those toes. And we're literally pushing into those toenails to help keep us on track. If I were to forget for any amount of time about that back leg, instead of the hips facing forward, they'd start to do something like this. That's a different thing altogether. So don't let that happen unless it's part of the choreography. Okay, hands down. Scoot your foot and knee a little bit closer together so you can stand up and have a box. Right arm up. Move the flesh of your left leg in. I just use the left thumb to do that. Hook your arm. If you're stuck with your thumbs at your shoulder, you need to push with that left hand more. Eventually, right hand down, left arm up, curl your back toes, lift the knee. So that left hip moves back as that left shoulder moves forward, regardless of what arm position you've done. And let's release the arms. Step to plank, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Oh good, the car alarm stopped. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Let's lower to the knees and then to the forearms. Make sure your forearms are not too splayed. So first, reach your fingers around your upper arms. You don't want your arms too far apart, and then place your palms flat. Cat-cow from here. It's gonna feel a little restricted. Inhale, lift your chest, arch. Exhale, belly in, round. And just keep going at your pace. You're pressing into your toes, your toenails, the top of your foot. You're pressing into your fingers, your wrists, the whole forearm. And you'll notice there's a lot less mobility than when your arms were straight. And that's okay. This is just training you for something that will come in like 45 minutes or 10 years. Okay, so from here, just neutralize your back, interlace your fingers, lift into dolphin, knees up, push into the edge of the hand, the wrist. Either stay here or come into headstand. I'm going to talk you through headstand just in case you're not familiar with it. So those of you that know headstand, just go on up. Otherwise, you're going to walk your feet in, come to the crown of the head on the floor. Keep walking your feet in and bend one knee to the chest. With the foot that's still on the floor, go to tippy toes until you feel like that foot is light. Once it's light, bring that knee also to the chest. And be able to have a conscious thought and a nice steady breath here before you do anything else with your legs. If you were to fall out of this little rounded position, you'd wind up very safe on your feet again. And I don't want you to fall into a back bend until you want to fall into a back bend. So if you keep a view of your legs, you will be safe. Let's meet in dolphin again. So those of you that are legs up, just put them on the floor. Push into the edge of your hand so that your head comes up. Separate your hands so the palms are flat. Push the chest of the legs. Downward dog with straight arms. Try to get that right and left to work together. Right leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. Warrior one. Oh Lordy, how much could I delay us doing this pose? Y'all know how I feel about this pose. It's crazy hard. So you can either keep reaching up or twist your arms like ropes, right under left, hands to prayer. Lift the elbows up away from your chest, and you can start to arc back as if your fingers are going to move toward that wall behind you. Thumbs off your face. 2 more breaths. Okay, if you have your arms wrapped, just slowly unwrap. Reach up. And let's open to all the way to Prasarita. So straighten the legs, pivot so the toes face the long edge of the mat. Inhale, chest up, hands to the hips. Exhale, fold, reach for your big toes with the first 2 fingers and thumbs. Inhale there. And exhale, bring the head down toward the floor. Resist the urge to let the shoulders and all the flesh of your back slide toward your head. Make those muscles work to defy gravity. One more breath here. And we'll straighten the arms for an inhale. Walk the hands to the top of the mat again and find your pigeon with the right leg in front. And for this particular pigeon, instead of getting that shin bone somewhat parallel to the top of the mat, we're going to bring it in more so that your right heel is relatively close to your left hip. Just in from wherever you normally put it. Okay, make sure your left leg is going straight back. Sometimes I stare at mine and my toes are like on the edge of the mat, even though my hip is nowhere near the edge. Okay, when you can, left forearm is going to come down in front. We're going to pull ourselves into a twist. That left hand is pulling. My kitty is meowing at her toy. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's way cuter than a car alarm. We're going to reach back to that foot and pull it in. She's hoarding all her toys on her chair. This is the chair that she's chosen for the next week or 2. She moves around a bit. And she in the course of the night has put 7 toys on her chair. Now she's meowing at them. Okay, slowly let that go. Hands to the floor, step back, vinyasa. We'll lift the left leg up high, inhale. Round your back as you step forward so that the foot can go higher. But don't lift your wrists just to get the foot higher. Lands where it lands. And then you scooch it up to get your warrior 1 stance. Reach up, inhale. Either stay there or left under right. Try to hook really high up on your arms. So I like to do it that way where I just kind of fling the arms, but sometimes people do it like this. You give yourself a hug, grasp your shoulder blades, and then you can rotate to the palms together. So either way, it's really just a warrior 1 variation. We're trying to zip up through that low belly, even though it's a crazy back bend. Okay, so keeping the legs strong, release the arms, inhale, and just open up to the side. We'll take Prasarita C. So let's bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, chest up, arms straight, and exhale to fold forward. The head will ideally come to the same place that it did before. You'll know that I like to separate the palms because otherwise there's no movement at all in the shoulders. I also like to lean to one side, sometimes bend the elbows, bend the knees, and then go to the other side, just to wiggle the arms a bit more close together, just like you would in that back bend, Safety Bandha Sarvangasana. Same concept there. Last breath here. And slowly release. Hands will come down. We'll just walk your hands toward the top of the mat and the foot to pigeon. So wherever I would normally go, I'm just going to pull the foot back a few inches. It just makes us have a little more ability to cope with the back leg. If the front foot is very far front, we're really dealing with that. On this side, it would be the left hip. But I want us to also deal with that right thigh. So bring the right forearm down, pull yourself into the twist. The right fingertips are pushing into the ground and literally dragging your chest in the direction of your left knee. So you can just stay there, or you can reach back, find your foot and pull it in. You might want to strap. Your foot might not get very close to your butt. One more breath. There is no kitty entertainment on this side. She has finished meowing at her toys. Let's slowly get out of there. And vinyasa. Okay, let's come to hands and knees again. So those of you that were comfortable doing this headstand, this is Baddha Hasta, Sirsasana A. If that was working well for you, try this one, C position. Those of you that are new to C, it's the same setup. Reach around your upper arms, place your palms flat. The only difference is palms are not linked, they're flat. Lift the knees, so it's like down dog B. Place the head on the ground, start to walk your feet in. Those of you that feel scared, same thing as before, one knee to the chest, tippy toe of the other foot, and then the other knee in. Keep your feet in a place you can see them. There is no need to scare yourself or overshoot. When you feel comfortable, you can start to lift the legs, or if you have a wall. But the back bend is for when you want it, not when it just kind of happened accidentally. Let's return to down dog B. We'll lower the legs. We'll press harder into the hands so we get our head off the ground. Shake out the head and straighten the arms, regular downward dog. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Step just 3/4 of the way forward. Twisted triangle, lower the back heel. This is tricky, just like Warrior One is tricky, to keep the hips square. Left hand down, right arm up. One of the ways I like to try to keep the hips square is the top arm, I reach behind the back, and I grab hold of the left hip bone, and I literally pull it up toward the ceiling. And that allows that right hip to slide back a little bit. It's an adjustment that your teacher would give you, were they in the room with you. They would usually use their thigh to do that. Take one more breath. And we'll unravel. Ardha Chandrasana. Shift the weight into the right foot, lift the back leg, stack the left hip on top, left arm on top. You can stay like that, or you can find the back bend form, which would be called Ardha Chandrachapasana. You can have your right hand on a block. You could have your right hand on the ankle. Woo! Let's keep the leg in the air. Just bring all 10 fingertips down. Square the hips and put a 6-inch bend in your right leg. It will be easier to square the hips then. Take a breath. Point your left toes. And just step back to a lunge. Lower the left knee down. So we're in Anjaneyasana. You've been in this pose 1,000 times already today. Hands to the knee. Okay, so either stay there or reach back with the left hand for the inside of the foot and just let this chest and shoulder open. If you're comfortable there and you don't feel too much of a strain, bend your elbow, bring the foot closer to you. You might stay here for a while. At some point, the foot is so close to you that turning the fingers over the toes is not really that hard. But the thigh has to open up a lot in order to get the foot. My heel is basically on my hip. And then the rotation is not so bad. Just take one more breath. Try to square up. Wherever your hand is fine. Square your ribs to the front of the mat. And let that go, either vinyasa or downward dog. And we get to do all of this on side 2. So left leg up high, inhale. Bring it about 3/4 of the way forward. Exhale. Straighten both legs. So our right foot is about 45 degrees turned out. Right hand is somewhere. It's going to be harder if you put it on the pinky toe side of your foot. I also find it harder if it's on the shin bone. Even though it's more lifted, the balance is tricky. But you could put it there if you don't have a block, otherwise just put a block down. Left hand either up or doing what you did to adjust yourself on the other side. And whatever your right hand is pushing into, you're going to try to push down and pull a little bit so that your shoulder moves over your wrist. Just like you did in pigeon, you pulled yourself into the twist, same kind of thing. Okay, unravel. Launch your back leg up. Open your hip. Lift your right arm. If you did it on the other side, take hold of your ankle. Kick your heel away from your butt. Do whatever arm with that bottom hand, whatever you did on side 1. I'm trying what I did on side 1, but it's not really working out. Oh well. I'll try again tomorrow. Okay, let that go. Square the hips to the floor. Put a little bend in your left leg. It's way easier to make that square adjustment. And keep reaching with your right toes. Big step back. Lower the knee. Anjaneyasana. When you're ready, right hand reaches back. So your thumb is right near the inside of your big toe. And your heel is moving away from your butt. You either stay like that or pull the foot in. If you're going for that Bakasana grip, your elbow will point up. Becomes a really nice shoulder chest stretch. Two more breaths, wherever you are. And we'll let go of our grip, vinyasa. Okay, let's come to tabletop for a moment. Ooh. If you have any wrist issues, maybe be on fingertips instead, or even ridge tops, or you can do a little fold of the mat and have your wrists actually, like if I fold my mat twice like this, my wrists are like 1 inch higher than my fingertips. And for a pose like what we're about to do, that would be fine. So just bring your right leg up behind you. Straight leg. Belly in, and bring your right knee toward your shoulder. Your hip will open, and your obliques, the side of your abs, are going to work to kind of crunch that in. Just take a breath, press into both hands, and extend the leg back again as straight as you can. Either repeat that same thing, or now keep the leg straight as you bring it to the side. We're trying to get it forward also. Then swing it back again and lower the right knee. Other side. So the left leg just lifts up behind. Belly in, because it's tempting to do a really big back bend there. Lift the hip a little bit and bring your knee toward your left shoulder. Try not to lean all of your weight on the right hand. Keep working your left hand. And extend the leg back again. Either repeat that or swing the leg to the side. And we'll try to get the toes to the same plane as the fingers. And swing the leg back again, and lower the knee. Inhale, chest up. Downward dog, exhale. Right leg high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. Lower the left knee, and then bring both hands big toe side of the foot. We're going to open the right foot about 45 degrees to the side and drop the knee away. Either stay or come to your forearm. Either stay or curl your back toes, lift the back knee. Lower the back knee if it's up, return to your hands. We're going to start to creep our left leg back, maybe 12 inches or so. So we're still in this weird no man's land. A lot of weight in the hands, but you don't overdo anything. Big IT band stretch. Take one more breath. And we're going to rotate from the hip so that the toes and kneecap face up, and we'll move the right hand to the outside of the knee. So you're in this long lunge. I'm just going to swivel so it's the side view. You can stay here. This is a prep for a split, or you can start to move into your split. We've done a lot of preps for split already. So keep as much weight in your hands as you need as you slide into it. And stepping to downward dog from here is the hardest part. So remember that zipping up sensation. That's what's going to get your butt up enough to get that right foot out of the way. And from down dog, just step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee down, place the hands big toe side of the foot. This is a variation on lizard. The left toes turn out, the knee drops open. Hands can come in front a bit so you can land on your elbows. If you're keeping your back knee down, the hips are very low. If you're curling your toes and lifting your back knee, the hips will start to rise because you're squeezing the thighs together. Both are very valuable, so just choose the one that seems like it suits you better. We'll lower to the knee again if it's up, return to the palms. Just keep the left foot as is for now and just go about 12 inches back, so nothing too crazy. That left foot is still flexed. And to square up from here, I like to do a little bit of a straighter front leg when I rotate the kneecap and toes to face up. And then I could just rebend it once I sort that out. And find your version of Hanumanasana. Okay, palms flat, lean forward a little bit, belly in, slide your left foot back, downward dog. Okay, Pincha Mayurasana 1. So if you don't want to do Pincha, you're going to repeat one of the headstands that we did before. And you'll just repeat that until you feel like you're bored with it and you want to do something else. For Pincha, you'll place your forearms down, lift your knees for down dog B, and you can just bring one foot in a little bit, kick with the other. Eventually the legs will touch, but you can keep them in a split shape for as long as you want. We'll meet in down dog B again. The feet come down, the head drops. When you're in Pincha, you're looking forward toward your fingers, but in down dog B, your head is just relaxed. Let's straighten the arms, down dog A. Try to go right and left, simultaneous. And let's jump through to sitting. The butt lands between the hands. Okay, soles of the feet together. Baddha with cat-cow. So on your inhale, lift the chest, pull yourself forward. On the exhale, round your back, drop your chin. Just back and forth at your pace. So one of the requests for today was Baddha Hasta Sirsasana C into Pincha Mayurasana. And to do that, you have to know how to pull your chest forward. Okay, so the next time that you're inhaling to your arch, just melt into neutral and bring your chest toward your feet. The knees will drop toward the floor. If you feel like they're not really dropping, you could put your hands on your thighs and give yourself a little external rotation. You basically push your thighs back and down, kind of away from the armpits as the armpits move forward. Okay, and we'll rise up. Let's bring the knees together, lean back so you can balance. Lift the legs, inhale. Lower the feet, lower the hands behind you, exhale. Straight arms, chest up, hips up, inhale. Butt down, exhale. Legs up, arms forward, inhale. Hands and feet down, exhale. So the feet are about hips width. Inhale to get the hips up to about as high as your knees. Exhale, lower your butt. Inhale, belly in. Exhale, hands and feet down. Chest lifts, elbows squeeze toward each other. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, hips down. Inhale, legs up. This time move through your vinyasa or just step into your downward dog. Let's walk the hands back to the feet. Just practice pushing into your fingers. That's going to be important later. And bend the knees and roll up to standing. I have to wipe all the sweat. Okay. We're not going to drop back. Don't worry. We're just going to practice the sensation of moving into a back bend from here. So separate your feet a little more than hips width. And all we're going to think about for right now is where are your shoulders and head in relation to your hips. Your hands can be anywhere you want. You could keep them on your hips. You could reach up. I think for right now, I'm going to do hands to hips just because I don't feel very flexible today. So we're going to inhale, chest up. And as we exhale, we'll move the head and shoulders back, the hips forward. We'll inhale to increase that a little bit, legs straight. Exhale a little bit more into that back bend. Just one more time. If you have your hands on your hips, squeeze your elbows together. And inhale yourself to standing. And bring your hands now in front so that your middle finger is at your hip bones, thumbs are at your lowest ribs. And this is not a yoga pose, it's just going to help us. You're literally going to cinch your fingers together and these bones together. And if you look at your screen for a second, this is what happens if I don't cinch, and this is if I do cinch. So there's a lot more space in the back if you can shorten the front a little bit. Okay, so let that go. So now we're going to think about the top of the head. We're going to do the same kind of thing, the leaning back thing. Imagine there's a little drip of water coming from your ceiling onto the crown of your head, literally the tippy part of your head. And then just do the same back bend, hands wherever you want them to be. We're going to inhale. And as you push your hips forward, notice it's the drip from your ceiling is no longer on the crown of your head. It's more like on your forehead. Maybe it's on your hairline. It depends how deep you are in this back bend. But that drip moved because your body took a different shape. Let's inhale ourselves to straight. The drip will return to the crown of the head. Move your hands to the front of the body and cinch the hip bones toward the lowest rib so that you relieve your low back. And then just bring your feet together again. So that is how we're going to get from Baddha Hasta C into Pincha. We're going to move from the crown of the head more toward the forehead. Okay, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. And step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. So those of you who are still working on the headstands, you might be doing the version where you see your feet. It's very important to be comfortable that way before you do anything crazy. When you're ready for Baddha Hasta C, for lifting up, you're going to come into your headstand with your palms flat. And I'll talk you through it. There's nothing really that you can't do. It's just a matter of getting used to it. So Baddha Hasta C, you start to lift your legs. The crown of your head is on the floor, imitating that little water drip that I was explaining. As you're coming into your Pincha Mayurasana from here, you need to start the back bend. So you're going to roll a little bit toward your forehead and move your hips away from your feet. Then your fingers will start to drag you forward and up. We'll meet in down dog B. So from whatever version you did, let's come back to there. I really had to fight for that today. Whew, Miss Bloom is making me work with these crazy requests. Okay, down dog A, straight arms. And we'll come through to sitting, jump your feet past your hands so that your butt can be between your hands. Okay, let's twist. We'll bring the right heel close to the sitting bone and hug the knee to the left shoulder. We will try that lift up thing again in a little bit, but we don't want to get too tired. If the hug is going well, hook your arm. Make sure your belly gets out of the way. If your belly is inside of your thigh, you'll only be able to twist so far. So you can use your right hand and move it. Move your boob. And get your left thumb to angle down. Eventually your elbow will bend in front of your shin and you can hold your wrist. You would be holding your right wrist with your left hand. Just take 2 more breaths. We're going to unwind slowly and either straighten the right leg so that you have an L shape, or fold the right leg back so that your thigh is still the L shape. Twist to the right so you face your right leg. Place your left hand on your thigh, right arm up. We're going to stay here for a full breath, just trying to keep the twist. Next inhale, reach a little bit higher. As you side bend, keep sliding your left shoulder forward. So when you get deep into the side bend, your shoulder lands in front of your left knee. If you forget about that twist as you're side bending, you'll end up in some kind of spot where you're like stuck on the other side of the leg and it's very hard to recover from it. So like many things, you need to keep the integrity of the pose as you go into it. The left hand does not have to stay on the hip. It can reach forward, it can reach for the foot. And let's slowly come up from wherever you are and just bring that leg forward. We're going to squeeze the legs together, point the toes, and bring the hands back. We're not going to lift into Purvottanasana just yet. We're going to practice the setup. So dip your chest down a little bit. Your shoulders are going to shrug up toward your ears. Once they're shrugged, roll them back. Elbows toward each other, then straighten the arms, and you're going to feel like your shoulder blades are poking you in the heart from behind. That lifts your chest up. Arms are straight or straightening. The throat is open. Okay, let that go. We'll go for Mayurasana C on side 2. So just bend the left leg, heel pretty close to your butt. Hug the knee to the right shoulder. Or hook the arm. And if you're hooking the arm, you're pushing your arm into your leg. But if I only push, I'm going to face this way. If I only push and I don't think about the leg, this happens. The knee drops way over. So instead, as you're pushing into your leg is pushing back. It's offering resistance so that it's like a pillar. Same is true if you're going into your bind. There is a little bit of tension there between leg and arm.
So if I cannot do the bind, is a good option going?
Stay here for a while if you can't bind.
No, I don't extend the arm. I don't try to reach for the leg. Just stay like that.
With your back hand, you mean?
Yeah, that front hand, look for your right leg.
No, that's a different pose. You're thinking of Mayurasana A.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that. So if you can't bind, you're just gonna have this elbow bent. You're not gonna reach to that foot. That's the A position. This is C, which seems like they should be similar because they're both Mayurasana, but they're not that similar. Okay, so get out of there, and we'll straighten out the legs, or fold your left leg back. Okay, so twist. You'll notice it takes some core strength, and what tends to happen is we're kind of slumped here. So you need to draw it up and draw to the side. So that zip up feeling. Left arm up, keep the twist. Right leg is gonna stay really straight. Even though you can't see it, you're gonna start to maneuver yourself around it. And this right shoulder going inside the knee is hard. So if it doesn't help you to keep your hand there, you might want to walk your hand forward, like off your mat. And it just slides it forward a little bit. And really, when we're practicing, I'm teaching you guys, I'm just telling you what works for me. But the more you do it, you're going to figure out what works for you. Okay, so take another breath or so. See if you can deepen the twist just one more inch. And we'll slowly get out of there, and we'll meet with the legs straight, potentially for Dandasana, which is a very hard pose. Hands back, chest up, shoulders are open, and then if you want full pose, just dig your heels into the floor and lift your hips. Keep squeezing your legs together. You can gaze back, gaze at the nose, but drop your head back. Okay, come on down. Release your legs and vinyasa. Let's find Hadasana. So we'll bring the knees down, walk them back a little bit so that you can drop your forehead to the floor, or your chin to the floor, or your chest to the floor. And whatever place you went to, don't forget about that zipping up in the front body. So that belly is drawing in, kind of like your organs are going to go up into your rib cage. That will make it so you don't backbend too much in your low back. Okay, start to come up again. Take your time, walk your hands in, and we're going to stand on the knees. We're going to untuck the toes. So remember all the anjanes you did before. Ideally, you have even a pinky toe active on the ground. You might have to kind of spread them out with your fingers. We're just going to take a little
kind of a baby Ustrasana. We're going to keep our hands on the hips, chest up, and just like when we were standing, push your hips forward and let your shoulders move back. Just stretch through the front side of the body. Make sure you can still breathe. And as you rise up, get a little bit taller. And think about that cinching in the front side of the body so that you're not stuck in this back bend. So either repeat that same thing or you're going to reach your hands for your heels. Inhale for height. I like to use the thumbs on the tailbone to nudge it forward a little bit. Chest is up on each inhale, and you can arch back a little bit more on each exhale. And you take your time. Keep pushing into your feet so that your hips move forward. Slowly rise up, take your time, and we're just going to meet in downward dog. Straight arms, straight legs. Okay, I'm going to turn you loose for like 60 seconds. Carol, you're going to try Baddha Hasta C into Pincha Mayurasana. Some of you might try regular headstand. Some of you might try jumping into Pincha Mayurasana. So do what you need to do to make this valuable for you. Obviously, the jumping into Pincha, if you don't have a wall, it could go a little bit awry. We don't really want it to go awry. We just want to get our hips over the shoulders. And whatever pose you've chosen, your hands, your wrists, your elbows, they're all serving you because that is your foundation. We're going to meet in child's pose. So take your time getting out of wherever you went. Child's pose, your arms can be in front of you or behind you. For right now, because we're not finished with back bends, I would encourage you to keep your arms in front of you. When the arms are behind, they tend to have your shoulders slumped forward, and we don't want to get stuck like that. We're still in back bend mode. Okay, roll on up. We're going to stand on the shins again. We're not going to necessarily come all the way into Laghu Vajrasana, but if you want to, by all means. I'm not going to show you the whole way, but you can if you want. So we're going to start the same way, but we're going to take some of the back bend out and work the legs more. So lean back, push into the tops of the feet, and return to upright. The way to do it with Laghu is your hands would come to your ankles. They're not on your heels, they're literally on your ankle. Thumbs are inside, so that it's a very easy arm position. And it would be the same thing, you're pushing into your hands and feet in order to get your hips to move. You could always do this with your hands on your hips, or you could just repeat Ustrasana, the pose we did before. Okay, return to neutral. Downward dog when you can. Let's come through to sitting. Jumping through either one or two kind of little hops to get you there. Let's place our right foot on the outside of the left knee. So earlier you did it where your foot was by your hip. Now it's going to go boop, a little further. Either left leg straight or bent. Hook your elbow on the outside of your right leg and push. Get the belly in enough that it can get around your thigh. And then if you have your armpit very close to your leg, your arm will be able to reach for the arch of your foot. Your right hand can either help you stay upright by pressing into the floor behind you, or you can wrap behind your back. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana. Okay, slowly untwist. Double pigeon. Shins line up. If you have any issues here, you could go on your back and do a pigeon or whatever else suits you. There are endless ways to adjust everything. We're just going to lean forward a little bit, try to bring the chest closer to the shin. Okay, and we'll rise up. Before we do the other side, lay on your back. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So we're just mixing in some back bends with some twists so that hopefully your back stays happy. Lift your hips, interlace your fingers under the back. So what I said earlier in Prasarita Padottanasana C is that I have to rock a little side to side. So it's the same in this pose. The flesh of the upper arm, you don't want it to get stuck or caught on your back. Eventually, palms together, pinky edge of your hand on the floor. Let's keep the hands however they are. Lower your butt to your forearms. Just take a few breaths there. So you're just stuck in a chest opener. You have nothing else to do but breathe. Okay, release your grip, lift your butt so you can free your arms, and we'll rock and roll up to sitting. For Ardha Matsyendrasana side 2. So right leg straight, plunk your left leg outside of the knee, hug your knee to your shoulder, and if you want, you can bend your right leg. If you're bending your leg, you're not sitting on your foot, it's just next to your hip. So you could stay here hugging the knee, or you're gonna hook your arm. And it's just like the Mayurasana twist we did. This arm is pushing into the leg. That's what's going to give you a nicer hip stretch. So reaching down may or may not happen. I like to think about a little bend in this elbow because otherwise I feel like the elbow is going to break. I never knew that I had sensitive elbows until this pose. Look back over your left shoulder. And we'll slowly get out of there for double pigeon or a hip stretch that works for you. If you are going for double pigeon, flex your feet a lot. No weird bend in the ankle. This pose is just for your hips. If you let your ankles get the pose from you, then you kind of delete the efficacy. How do you pronounce that word? I want to say something that means effectiveness. Efficacy? Efficacy. That's, I think, it. Oh my gosh, English is so crazy. Okay, when you're ready, start to rise up and we're going to lay on our backs again. This time either repeating your Setu Bandha Sarvangasana or going for your Dandasana. Hands by the shoulders, lift up. I like to rock a little bit by pushing into the legs a little harder, then relaxing them a little, just with each breath. It's the exhale that pushes your chest toward the wall. The inhale that's a little more of a weight in the feet. And then come on down to the shoulders. We're going to do that again. I like to check sometimes that my feet are parallel because I see the videos from these classes and I'm like, wow, what were my feet doing? Not behaving is what they were doing. So when you're ready, lift up.
So if you're on your hands, use the inhale to push the weight into your hands and exhale into the legs. And let's come on down. Land on the shoulders. Lower to your back. We'll stick in another hip stretch here. We're going to cross the thighs as high up as you can. Find the ankles with your hands and try to pull your feet toward your hips. It's like a Gomukhasana leg, but instead of balancing in Gomukhasana, we're just on our backs. Shoulders should be down, head relaxed, ideally. And switch sides. Shake it out. Cross as high up as you can. You might have to negotiate some of that flesh. I'm going to talk about the next pose, but stay here for another breath or two. So you're going to either repeat some of the back bends we've already done, or you're going to come into Baddha, Hasta, Sirsasana A and flip over into Viparita Dandasana. Let's release the grip and make your way into your pose. So I'm going to talk you through the Viparita one because we haven't done it yet. So you come toward the back of your mat so you know your feet are going to land. And it's the same thing as when you lifted to Pincha Mayurasana. You start your headstand, you're on your tippy top of head. You're going to be rolling toward your forehead a bit. So find your headstand comfortably first. And this is one of those poses that I was talking about before where we don't want to go here until we feel ready. So those of you who are new to headstand, if you keep an eye on your feet, you will not end up in this pose. So those of you trying this, you roll toward your forehead. You let your knees bend. Keep the weight in your elbows. Keep pushing your hips opposite your feet. And then gravity will get you there. Let's all come on down to the back. Let's rock and roll up to sitting. Straighten out the legs, right foot to left thigh. Janu Sirsasana A. Reach for the left foot, inhale. Belly in, and a bit of a fold, exhale. As much of a fold as suits you for right now. Inhale your way up and just change your legs. I'm just going to face this way. Your thighs are like 90 degrees apart. And that zip up sensation is happening in the front side of the body so that when you fold, the flesh of your stomach is not interfering with your fold. There was a pose on Friday that as we were doing it, I said it, my belly was in the way of the pose, and then later I saw the video, and it was hilarious. It was limiting my position because I hadn't properly brought my belly in. Okay, let's rise up. Straighten out both legs, and I'm going to give you a little choice to either repeat, because Demini, you wanted to do that headstand to back bend, so you're going to repeat that. And everyone else, you're going to go for shoulder stand. So either try your back bend of choice, doing something kind of on the crazy side, or shoulder stand, you're going to lift your legs and support your hips or back with your hands. And as you get comfy there, your hands are actually going to move toward your shoulder blades a little bit more. And you shouldn't be able to see me if you're in shoulder stand. You're just looking at your feet. Let's keep the left leg where it is. Bring the right leg toward the floor as far as it'll go. And keep staring at your left leg. You see how that knee started to slide out to the side?
You need to inner rotate your left leg more to get your knee to face straight back. And I know that your leg needs to rotate more because so does mine. Let's bring the bottom leg up and try the other side. And those of you that went to your last back bend, just meet us in a shoulder stand, but stay symmetrical because you won't have time to do all the little split things. Okay, bottom leg up. Let's bend the knees and attempt to touch the forehead with the knees. If you do, make sure you're still breathing. Then slide your knees to your temples. Gently press the back of your head into the floor. Slide your knees to your ears. Let the toes come down overhead. Release the hands to the back and roll down to your back. Take your time, and whenever you happen to get to your back, we're going to take a happy baby. Hold the edges of the feet and just pull the knees down. And think about a more Upavishta Konasana. Straighten the legs as much as they'll go. Push the balls of your feet away. Keep pulling with the hands, pulling the feet back. And we'll morph this into Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, heels close to your butt. If you think this is too easy, you feel nothing in your hips, move your feet further away from your butt. You want to be able to completely relax. I just moved my feet maybe 12 inches away and now I can't relax at all because it's too much. So I'm going to come in a bit. There's a happy place somewhere for all of us. We want to feel something, but it shouldn't be awkward. Take a few breaths. With either hands or no hands, bring your knees together. Walk your feet to the edge of the mat and drop your knees together. So you're like a little teepee with your legs. Just notice how your back feels there. For Shavasana, either stay like that or let the legs move out or any other thing that suits you.
Start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Bend one or both knees. Roll to the side. With minimal effort, sit up. Keep the eyes closed. Shoulders over hips. Let's drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Roll the chin to the chest. Left ear to the left shoulder. Chin to the chest. Bring the hands together, thumbs between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. I'm gonna come around and flippy flip this little video over to my head.